What is Contabo? Contabo is a server provider. If you need to host websites, you can use servers from Contabo. Which servers do they provide? They provide VPS servers. They have virtual dedicated servers. These are VPSs with dedicated CPUs, and then they also have dedicated servers. And they also introduced object storage. So object storage is when you need to store static files. You can use the object storage from Contabo, and this is S3 compatible. So instead of using S3, you can use Contabo object storage. And then a VPS, these are the normal servers, are virtual private servers that you can rent from Contabo and install whatever application you want to run, whether it's WordPress, anything you want to run, you can run it on your VPS on Contabo. And Cloud VDS, as I've said, is just the same as VPS, except for the fact that these have dedicated virtual CPUs. So you will not be sharing the resources on the server with the people on the same server network. We're going to deploy a virtual private server from Contabo, and then we're also going to see how the Contabo dashboard looks like. By the end of this, if you find this video helpful, feel free to support my endeavors, and you can use my Contabo link. You can use my Contabo link in the description. I will greatly appreciate that if you decide to support my endeavors. Thanks. So let's go over to VPS servers. So this is probably one of the cheapest VPS that you can use right now. And yes, you can run a production website with a Contabo server. If you're ready, just click here, and we're going to start with this. I'm not going to deploy the server all through. I already have a server that I can use for demonstrations. So that's the one I'm going to use. I will select this. And of course, the first thing, you can select a contract period, but just stick with the monthly, month on month. So every month you have to pay for the server. And then the region, you choose the data centers. So where currently the data centers that Contabo have are in Europe, that is in Germany, US, there are 3 centers, and then Asia, and then the newest is United Kingdom. So choose one region. You can see if you choose a region other than Germany, your monthly cost is going to go up. So just take a look at this, because this is important for you to know how much you'll be paying per month. So if I choose a different data center, you can see that increases. If I choose one which is in Asia, you can see the monthly price of my server will increase. So I'm just going to stick with the one for Germany, but you can choose the one which is closest to where your visitors are if you don't mind paying the extra fees for that data center. And then for the storage type, you can now choose either NVMe or SSD for your VPS. You can either get 200 GB free SSD for free, or you can get 50 GB NVMe for free. So you should probably go with NVMe if you don't need the extra space. You just want to run a website. NVMe will make your server a little bit faster. So that's one reason to go with it. Or you can choose for another $2. You can get 100 GB NVMe, and you can see your monthly price is going to increase. So you can just stick with the 50 GB NVMe. And then the image, which operating system do you want to install on your Contabo server? So let's go into OSs. Let's go into operating systems, and you can see you can install Ubuntu. If whatever you're trying to run has support for the latest Ubuntu, just stick with the latest Ubuntu LTS version. If you want Windows, that is the price for Windows. And you can also use any of this, CentOS, any of these Red Hat based operating systems. Choose the operating system there. If you want cPanel, you can come in here and you'll get cPanel. You can also use Plesk, whichever version of Plesk you want to use. If you want to install Docker instantly on your operating system, you can do that right there. If you want to run WordPress, I do have a tutorial about using HestiaCP. So you can use Hestia Control Panel to run your WordPress. I do have a playlist for that. If you go to my playlist, you're going to see that. Webmain, this is just used for managing your server. If you know what Webmain is, you can install it right here. If you're a beginner, just go with Ubuntu, the latest Ubuntu the latest Ubuntu version, as long as it can run whatever you want to run. Look at the applications that you want to run and see if they're already supported on Ubuntu 22, and that's the one you should go with, Ubuntu 22.04. And if you do so, I do have a post that I will put below for how to set up your Ubuntu 22.04. You can come down here, and the username by default is root. This is the user that you'll use to SSH into your server. And you'll need to just make sure you copy this. Make sure you copy this and you save it, because this is what you'll use to SSH into your server. And if you want to add SSH keys, I have in the Ubuntu initial setup post, there's a section for that, and I will upload those videos. And I'll upload a video for that as well. Now, as for networking, this is a new thing on Contabo, and this is probably good for anybody who wants to run Kubernetes on Contabo. If you want to run Kubernetes on Contabo, then you can enable private networking, and I see private networking is paid on Contabo. IP addresses, if you want an extra IP address, you can get an extra one for $4. And then add-ons, backup space. If you need additional space, you can add backup space, and you can use this to back up your server files. Server management, if you want unmanaged, you'll be the one handling everything on your server. Managed, Contabo will handle the server for you. Monitoring, you can enable that if it's important for you. SSL, you can use Let's Encrypt for free. So this is really not that important. If your website is not that crucial for front-end customers, then you can just use the free Let's Encrypt SSL certificates. And once you're done and you've chosen everything, you'll just click next and make sure that your price is, I don't know what I added on my price to make it $10. So if you're already a customer, this is a point where we're going to part, because I don't want to go and order this server, but I'm just going to tell you everything that you need to do to make sure that your server is set up successfully. So you're going to log in. If you don't have an account, just go ahead and create your account with your details. Your address is important. Use your real name. Use all the details that are available on some billing item. If you have a power billing item, water billing item, even your tax returns, you can use that to verify your identity on Contabo. So make sure that the address that you're using here and the name that you're using here at least has details that can be verified. So even if they're not yours, you can maybe use your siblings or somebody that has the details that you can use to verify your identity. And that's important, because once you set up your account, you will be told to send something for verification. So you can send a water billing, any billing item, water, power, tax returns, I think even a bank statement, as long as it has your name and the addresses and the address. This will be used for verification purposes. So once you do that and your account is set up, you will get your login credentials. And as for your password, when we were setting up the server, you saw there's a place where the user is root and you set up a password. Make sure you save that password, because that is what you're going to use to SSH into your server. And then you can pay using PayPal, you can pay using Visa. So any of these cards, if you have them, just use that to pay. Most importantly, make sure your details are accurate, your email address and everything, because as soon as you send this, they will need to verify some of the details depending on where you are. Let's go and see how the Contabo dashboard looks like. Before you leave this area, just keep an eye in the email address that you use here, because if they need the verification details, they will email you and tell you that. Let's go and look at the Contabo dashboard. So to log into your dashboard, you can just go to my.contabo.com. As you can see, I'm already logged into my Contabo. So once your verification has been done, you will get your Contabo login details. So once your account is verified and you're inside your Contabo, you've successfully logged in, you can come in here under customer details and enable two-factor authentication. So if you want to enable two-factor authentication, you can do it here. Just download Google Authenticator and then you'll just click the button which is here. Mine is already enabled, so I'm not going to deactivate it. But once you get here, just click on the button to enable two-factor authentication because that's good to protect your accounts, and you can also change your Contabo password. So that is under customer details. And then you can look at your services. So if you have any products from Contabo, you have servers, you'll find them here under your services. Everything will be here under services, and you can manage your services. If you need to upgrade the VPS, maybe you want to go to a bigger plan, you can do that there. If you want to move to a different region, maybe you found that you don't like the current region where you are, you can move your server to a different data center, and you can order Windows, extend your SSD storage, you can reinstall your server. So maybe you installed Debian 11 and now you want Ubuntu. You can go there and reinstall a different operating system. And if you can't connect to your server, you can just click there. Let's see where this will take us. So you may encounter an issue whereby you're unable to connect. So just choose how you're trying to connect. Let's say SSH. Do you see SSH login prompt? So just follow along with that and see where it takes you. Yes. What user do you use to log in? Root. Do you get a wrong password message? Yes. Just keep doing this. And then you submit. You can reset your password right there. If you come here to VPS control, here on VPS control, this is where you'll find all your VPSs. Here on VPS control has all your VPSs. So I was being told to reset the password. So let's come in here and I'm going to click there. You can reset a password for your VPS. So you can set up a new password for your user. If you forget the old password for your VPS, just go into VPS control. And then choose reset password. VDS, this is where you'll have your virtual dedicated servers. VDSs, these are VPSs with dedicated virtual CPUs. So you will not be sharing the resources in these servers. If you deploy any, you'll find them here. If you deploy any server, any dedicated servers, you'll find them here under server control. And you can also look at what else is here. Let's start from the top. We've looked at services, customer details. You can change your password there. You can change your Contabo dashboard password in there. You can enable two-factor authentication in there. And if you want to access the Contabo API, the new Contabo API, you can come in here and you can set up your authentication secrets. You can go to the documentation to learn more about the Contabo API. And then custom images. So I haven't used this, but just click there to see what it's about. And I'm sure you can read the documentation to find out if you can install ISO images there. And I might do a video about that in future. These are currently the images that they have. While deploying your VPS server, you saw that you could choose any of these operating systems on the front end. So let's just click here on custom images. We want to see what this is about. Now, this is one feature that I haven't used. So we can offer custom storage. So you can store your ISO images here for $129 a month. Do you agree to pay that? You can say yes. So I'm just going to stop there, but you can store your custom images there. So just come in here and try and go on with the next process to see how to use this feature. I may do a tutorial about this in future. As for now, it's not a priority. Object storage, that is a new product from Contabo. If you know about object storage from Amazon S3, that is the same thing, but you get it at a very cheap price here on Contabo. For $249, you get 250 GB. And I may do a tutorial about this as well in future. Private networking, as we said, private networking. If you want to network your VPS servers, any servers that you have in Contabo, you want the servers to talk privately to each other, you can come in here under private networking and create a private network and then add different servers into that network. So just remember that this is a paid feature on Contabo. So if you want to use it, it will not be free. It is around $249. You can look at that on the front end of Contabo. Billing, You can change your billing details here. You can pay via PayPal. You can choose to automatically pay via PayPal. So you can change your billing details here. If you're paying via PayPal, then you can make PayPal to pay automatically, or you can use manual payment. So you can change your payment method right here. Just click there and you can choose a different payment method. And you can pay automatically every month from your PayPal or from your credit card. So this is also important. Just come in here and make sure that you change this. If you don't want them to charge you automatically, then come in here and change your payment method so that they don't charge you automatically. Let's go to server control. Server control, we said if you have any dedicated servers, they'll be here. If you have any VDS servers, they will be here under VDS control, and the same is true for VPS. So currently I have this one VPS, and we're going to see how to log into this server in a moment after doing this Contabo dashboard overview. So IP management, if you order an extra IP, it will be listed there. OS reinstall, if you need to reinstall the operating system, the lists will be listed here. If you have multiple servers and you choose reinstall, and under services, you saw that you can do that. You'll see the list of operating systems that need to be reinstalled there. If you schedule any to be reinstalled, they will be listed there. And then domains, if you want to buy domain names from Contabo, you can register domain names. I don't have any domains on Contabo. DNS zone management, if you want to use Contabo as your DNS provider, you can come in here and you can add a domain with your IP, and they will create the records for that domain. You can even add records. So if you don't want to use Cloudflare, you don't use any other DNS provider, you can use Contabo. Just go to wherever your domain is hosted and add these details. Add all these name servers on your domain provider. And then reverse DNS management. So this is also very important. If you want to set up an actual website, come in here and change your PTR record to match your server hostname. Maybe your hostname is, maybe you've installed CyberPanel or you've installed HTTP in a subdomain called panel1.bizanosa.com. Come in here and change it here. And make sure that you also go into your SSH and you change your server host name into that. This will make sure that your mail gets delivered when you add this in your DNS provider as a PTR record, and you also add other things such as DKIM. This is going to help you. This is going to ensure that your mail at least doesn't end up in spam. Make sure you change this. I do have a video about doing this, so just go back to that video and see how to change your host name and also how to change it right here as well. Tutorials, what is here? You can look at the Contabo tutorials. You can look at that. If you want to order anything, just click on anything that you want to order from there and it will take you to the front end. Maybe you want to order a storage VPS. It will take you to the front end of Contabo and you can order a storage VPS that comes with HDD. So if you need space to store stuff, a VPS just for storage, you don't mind about the performance of the server, you can come in here and you can get storage VPSs. So that's pretty much it for this. Now let's see how we can log into this server. So if you're on Windows, go to Google and search for Git. I need you to install Git. If you're on a Linux, you can follow along with me without any problems using terminal. If you are on a Mac as well, you can use terminal. If you're on Windows, come in here, click on that and install Git. And once you install Git, open up Git Bash. So I will open up Git Bash. I'm now here under VPS control. Let's see how to connect to our VPS using SSH if you want to set it up. So as soon as your server is created, come in here and click on restart to restart your server. And once you do that, we can try to log in. So if you're on a Mac, open up terminal. On Windows, I will open up Git Bash. I'll just search for Git Bash. You can do SSH, and the user by default is root at your IP address. at your IP address, paste. So I did something there. Let me get my IP again, copy. Root at, Control L to clear the screen, and then I'll just paste in my IP, enter, and it is asking me to add this into my non-hosts file. If you see this, just type in yes to confirm, and then you need to add your password. I will copy my password from there. Now, your password will probably not have been sent to you while you're deploying your server. If you set it up, make sure you copy it somewhere. Make sure you save it somewhere, because I'm not sure whether they'll send it to you since they started this thing where you have to set your password when you're deploying the server. Make sure you save it because you need it to log in. And even if you forget it, you saw how to reset it on your VPS. Control, paste. And when you paste, you won't see it. Just type enter. And there you go. You're now logged into your server and you can update it. So Control L, mine is Debian. I can just do sudo apt update. So I don't even know why I'm doing sudo and I'm in root. I'm just used to it. Just get to the habit of creating a new user. When you get a new server, the first thing you need to do, create a new user so that you can log in with that user. Apt upgrade -y. So if there are any updates, yeah, so you can see it's telling me sudo is not available, but you can install sudo. So this is a good thing that this has happened. So if you're setting up your server on Debian 11 on Contabo and you see a message like sudo command not found, just update your server first, apt update and apt upgrade. And let's wait for the server to update. And once it has updated, you're going to see how to fix this very fast, because this is a problem you may come across, especially if you're following an initial server setup that uses sudo. The server is updated. Now to fix that issue with sudo, you just need to install sudo apt install sudo apt install sudo. And once you do this, if you try to run anything with sudo, it's going to work. So let's just do sudo update you can see now everything is working. So that's just something that I'm glad I came across, because if you're following any guide that uses sudo and you come across through that problem on Debian, usually you just need to install sudo. So there was something else I told you to change your host name. Currently my host name, if I just type host name, it will tell me my host name is that, and that is definitely not what I want for my host name. I can do host name control set host name. I want to set my host name as panel 1. Once you do that, you can check your new host name. So this is important if you want to send mail. Make sure that your host name is the same as what you added on your PTR on Contabo. If you didn't watch that part, just go back and watch it. The Contabo dashboard overview. There's a part where we came in here and reverse DNS management. Make sure you set that up. And this is not the end. When you're changing up the server host name on Contabo, the next thing you need to do is you need to at least change it in the etc hosts file. Let's go and edit it using vim. I'm root, so I don't really need to use sudo. So I'll just go into vi. I need to edit this file so that I can change the hosts file. So I'll go inside of etc hosts, and if I come inside of this file, you'll see that it doesn't even have any detail about my host name. So we need to fix this. So if you want to edit in vim, you can just press I. So I can see there's already a problem here. This is not Vim that I want to use. I want to use Vim, not VI. So to fix this on Debian 11, I'm just going to install Vim. On Ubuntu, probably it comes already installed. So I'm just going to do Shift ZQ. First of all, press Escape. Escape. And then Shift Z Q, and that's going to exit me out of Vim, and I need to install Vim. So let's go and edit the file again. The good thing with Vim, at least you can see the status of things. Like right now, if I press I, down here on the screen, you can see it tells me that I'm in insert mode, and that's important. Change your server hostname so that it also reflects in other systems, especially when you're using something like Exim to send mail. Let me edit it here first, and I will use my hostname, which was, let's just exit out of this for a moment, Escape, Shift ZQ, and then we want to see our hostname. Copy. And then let's put it here. So the way that you add your host name in there, you add your IP address, and then there you put the host name, and then here you put an alias. So the alias for us will be this. So when you log into this server, this is what you'll see. And I'm going to show you this in a moment. So I will copy this. And here on my server, you can see, let me do Control L to clear the screen. So you can see right now, this is my host name. This is what is being shown here. But once we change the details, it's going to be different when we log in. So I'll go back to this etc hosts, enter, and right here, let me just press I to go into insert mode. And then since I'm using git bash, if I want to paste anything inside of git bash, I'll do Shift Insert. So I copied the wrong thing. Let's come back here. Copy. And then here I can just do Escape. And then I'll do DD to delete that line. Press I again so that I can go into insert mode. If you don't use Vim, you can always use Nano, which is much easier to use. So I'll do Shift Insert, and that is going to paste that in there. So you can also add it for 124 or 7. So let me just do that. So I will paste in Shift Insert. I will paste it that. Then I will just change this to 127, our local host. 127. All right. So when I save this, our host name should be changed. So I'm going to do Escape. And down here, you can see that we have this. We definitely need to remove this because this is the old host name. So I'm just going to press Escape and do DD to delete that line. And then I will do Shift ZZ to save. As I said, you can always use Nano if you don't use Vim. So you can just do the same thing with Nano because Nano is much easier to use. But I do have a video for how to use Vim if you want to get into using Vim. So with Nano, much easier to edit, and when you're done editing anything, you'll just do Control X to exit and then Y to save if you do change anything. But I didn't change anything, so I'll just do Control X to exit. But if you change something, you'll need to press Y to enter. So this video has gone long enough. I've even added things that I probably shouldn't have added in the video, but I hope this will help you. Let's try to restart the server. And then we'll try to log in again. So just give it time. So that was our SSH. Give it time to restart. And I'll come back and copy my password. So it seems like it's still starting up. All right, enter the password. So let me copy the password again. Copy. Let me try to reset the password again. Let's reset the password and see if this is going to help. New password. Show. Just use the same password. Paste. Paste. Send password. You can send it to your email. So I'll perform a password reset. Hopefully this is going to fix the issue that I'm currently having. So let us see if the password reset is going to help us log into the server. Control L, clear the screen. Control L, clear the screen, and let's try again. Since we've reset the password, paste. Permission denied. Try again.